This particular scandal is an important reminder that despite the emphasis put on protecting the unborn, the rhetoric of the pro-life movement is largely just that. At its core, the anti-abortion movement is less about protecting fetuses, and more about legislating and controlling women's sexual and reproductive health. Murphy's affair with Pittsburgh-based forensic psychologist Shannon Edwards was made public last month when her husband filed for divorce. In a text message obtained by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Edwards lambasted Murphy for his anti-abortion rhetoric after he pressured her to go through the procedure when he thought she was pregnant with his child. You have zero issue posting your pro-life stance all over the place when you had no issue asking me to abort our unborn child just last week when we thought that was one of the options, she wrote to him on January 25. Edwards seems to have been responding to a Facebook post on Murphy's official page from January 24, in which he'd written that, "It is a tragic shame that America is leading the world in disregarding the most vulnerable." The purpose of this particular post was to tout H.R. 7, a bill that would permanently ban any federal funding for abortion care, as well as any reimbursements for insurance plans that cover the procedure. Read the full post below. However, just 2 days later, on January 27, Murphy released a statement of support for the 44th Annual March for Life in Washington, D.C. Murphy's public persona as a selfless advocate for the unborn is typical for members of the anti-abortion right. But what he said behind closed doors to a woman with whom he had a sexual relationship is certainly a more accurate depiction of the anti-abortion movement, a movement fraught with general disdain for women's sexual empowerment, one that uses pro-life rhetoric in public spaces to drum up support for insidious anti-choice legislation that puts women's lives in danger. There is also a long history of anti-choice conservatives depending on reproductive health care access in their own lives only to turn around and try to restrict it for others, thus, like Murphy, positioning themselves as arbiters of what other people get to do with their bodies. Norma McCorvey, also known as Jane Roe in the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court case that legalized abortion in the U.S., went on to become an outspoken advocate against the procedure and joined the ranks of some of the most extreme anti-abortion movements in the country.